So this lecture is of course my transport, my stay in Islamabad is not funded by a pharmaceutical company. This is purely my own personal experience at my clinic, my clinical research, and my personal belief. Something which, before we start the lecture, something I just realized while I was looking at my store, and how is it, oh, we didn't get the last slide, PatCon anyway. So in 1992, if I was at the fourth conference, PAD, after 31 years, how am I not on the 35th, and how has it become 42? Isn't that something to thought? ये डॉक्टर अली आप बताएं मुझे. Where in 1992, if I was at the 4th annual conference of dermatology, after 31 years, 35th conference होनी चाहिए थी ना, PatCon की. Can you take a photograph and give me the answer? Because I had disappeared when I left academics. I disappeared. I came back with aesthetic, with Dr. Nasima scolding me to come back and teach. So next. Yeah. How is it, the 42nd? ये तो तस्वीर लेनी चाहिए. So aging is accumulation of a variety of molecular and cellular damage, and this leads to a gradual decrease in physical and mental health, and of course, aging, eventually ultimate death. But is aging a disease? And WHO now does not consider aging as a disease and a natural process. It is considered now as a disease. And how is that important to us? I'll go very fast because I don't want to bore you with a very boring lecture as usual. So what is the advantage of considering aging as a disease? Because there'll be a lot of funding, research, and we'll know a lot more about how to stop aging if we consider aging is not a natural process, but a disease. And what are the factors which cause aging is inflammaging. So as you people go older, you will see that they have a lot of elevated inflammatory markers, which then cause morbidity, disability, fragility. And there are a lot of mechanisms which lead you to aging and release of inflammatory markers. But the most thing which can be reversed is obesity, and that's the only thing we can easily reverse, which we underestimate. So a high-fat diet will release pro-inflammatory markers, which then lead to atherosclerosis and insulin resistance. So what are we talking about? We all know that with cellular senescence, welcome Dr. Abdulaziz, lovely to have you here. So we all know what aging is, how it is with constant replication of cellular division and mitosis, there's telomere shortening, eventually senescence, cell death, and bottom line is we want to stop aging. So every mitotic cellular division, there is shortening of the telomeres, and eventually to the point that there'll be cellular death and senescence. So what is the role of weight loss in aging and reducing inflammation? So whatever, it doesn't matter whether what a patient eats. So years back, I would go on and say zero carb, don't eat inflammatory products, no gluten. And we thought gluten and all these sugary and carbs were causing aging and inflammation. But now we know that it's just a simple caloric restriction and a low-caloric diet, and losing weight is actually aging, anti-aging and pro. So why would we talk about, when we did survey of all the doctors and what do doctors think about obesity, we realize that most of the doctors underestimate the role of slimming and obesity. And if you're asking me why at this point, I'm not talking about a new technology, a new laser that I bought in my clinic or something, because this is something which you do not need to invest in anything, to offer something to the patients, to our patients with. So we'll go faster, and 48 million Pakistani have got, we rank among one of the top 8 people who've got obesity. 48 million of us are obese, only 0.3% are diagnosed, and of that, only 16% ever got a treatment for obesity. And these are the everyday people who come to your clinic and say, Doctor, double chin theek kar de, haifu kar de. Now it is our duty to first bring about and tell them that you don't do liposuction on an obese. We do tell them it is our job, it is our duty to tell the patients whatever that you need to lose weight. So it was always at this point, and of course you'll see Faiza Sami now, she has lost weight if you see her later because she is on Saxenda. So what is the bottom line is intermittent fasting. In the end, what do you want them to do? You want them to do intermittent fasting because the benefits of intermittent fasting are far, and it's now everybody knows about it. It's not something unique or something new. Okay, so so if you lose 16%, I would have gone in depth, you can reverse a lot of diseases. It's a formula. You lose 16% of your body weight, you can reverse a lot of diseases. Do we need a miracle? We need a miracle drug which helps us in making them do intermittent fasting. If you tell somebody to do intermittent fasting, she'll say, no, mar jaungi, nahi karungi. And then I have to tell them, aap roze rakhte hain, Musalman hai, to bilkul rakhte hain, pure 30 din. Can you do it with water? But it is always easy. If I have a drug which suppresses appetite, the new glucagon-like peptide receptor agonist, it works in 2 ways. It decreases appetite, acts on the hypothalamus, it delays gastric emptying. With the daily dose, it's subcutaneous 0.6 mg. You can take a photograph of this. We've been doing all kinds of drugs. We tried Orlistat, we tried HCG, but this is FDA-approved drug. So if it is an FDA drug approved, I don't have to worry about it. They can Google. I just write it as a prescription. They come back after 2 months looking stunning because obviously they look stunning because of many other it's not just my HIFU or my radio frequency or my muscle toning M-phase. It's because they have lost weight. So I don't see all this. So about my clinic, I don't give them the dose that is recommended by the company. I just put them on 0.6 mg. I do it every day. I don't weekly increase the dose so that I see the side effect. I put them on enough. Maybe even if it's placebo, what do I care? I just make sure that they don't have the side effect. I will only increase the dose after they tell me, oh, they can't lose weight, so I'll increase it to 1.2, and I increase to, but our Pakistani patient cannot tolerate the real recommended dose. Thank goodness the company is not here in this conference. So, and it's not something which I'm charging, I'm just writing it. They have to buy from the pharmacy, so I don't have the headache or the burden of financially. So how is GL, we secrete glucagon-like peptide receptor antagonist, but the half-life, the difference between this and the synthetic one is of a small change, and the half-life, let's go quickly, I don't want to do this. So the half-life, I'll just let you know that the half-life of the endogenous GLP-1 is just 2 minutes, and the synthetic is 13 hours. So it builds up, you're always never hungry, so it's so easy to put our patients on intermittent fasting, and that's intermittent fasting is the way to go. Anti-aging, it releases nicotine adenine dinucleotide, and also there are drugs now for even metformin is now, because obesity is considered as as a disease, we can give glucophage, metformin, and the neurofamcin. I think Dr. Athiya gave a lovely lecture, Dr. Athiya Tareen, and she covered NAD and everything. So thank you. That's all the message I had to give you.